Kaisa and maybe force it to be an AD Kaisa?
I guess they're saying, hey, we don't just want to trade Kaisa for Jace because we kind of just want Jace with Kaisa.
Yeah.
So just ban it out instead. But this does leave open that Maokai. We'll see if C9 want to prioritize it over the Kaisa.
Yeah, everyone's focused on the AP Kaisa, but Blaber's undefeated Maokai here, also an AP threat. It's up to 14 now, I believe?
I'm checking here.
We gotta get
14 and 0 on the Maokai.
14 and 0, undefeated here still, and Blaber bringing it out when it most matters in finals. Dhokla, it's just too easy to play with their hearts. It's too easy.
So easy, dude. I think it's just Jace, no, excuse me, not Jace. I wonder if they just go Kaisa, right? Like, or do you think that they're going to prioritize, more engage? I feel like if you don't take Kaisa, you're giving it away, and I'm just not sure what you would be happier to play
than
over
Kaisa.
it. Yeah.
Well,
I mean, you can do Zeri if you're fine. These guys actually feel like Zeri is underrated in that matchup. It was a ban that NRG put on the table last time after they picked Kaisa, so now this time, Berserker is going to have his opportunity to get on that Zeri if he wants to. And that, I think, is really how he started to make his name in the LCS. That pick is so synonymous with Berserker for me. We've seen him get so many pentakills, so many quadra-kills, so many Zeri
crazy
moments.
how he got a lot of pentakills on this champion that everyone gets pentakills on.
The pentakill Pikachu.
It certainly is. What do they want to pair that Pikachu with, though? Let's see. Rakan is still available, kind of bridges that gap where it gives you engage, plus it's also semi-enchanter with the shields.
If there was one guy to actually play an enchanter, I think it would be Zven, and I do think Renata's really strong. I just don't know if he'll go for it. I do think, those really more common pairings are obviously the engage tools here. Alistar going to be locked in, kind of almost like pre-answering what could be, a Rell or a Rakan or something like that. It's interesting to me to see that prioritized above some of those others. It is a really good bodyguard champion for these Zeri.
And I feel
think
like
offensively it's worse, though. I think the engage is worse.
And it is a shout out to how well, Ignar played it. And Ignar had a huge impact with it. A lot of these plays, and even yesterday as well in the series. So definitely has become a much higher priority.
Oh.
I love this.
Okay.
I love this. Game number 2, we were like, nah, Dhokla's not one of the Jax guys. He's not the kind of guy to pilot the helicopter. He does it beautifully. He ends up coming back after being down in the early game, and now they're happy to lock it in for him again.
And you talked about him being a confidence-based player.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he got confidence. You could see it in the emote spamming after every play in that last game. He threw up the tongue out emote as well as the white flag, too, when they started winning. So Dhokla is definitely rolling right now.
I mean, he's feeling himself, right? He's hovering the champions. He's getting reaction from the crowd. The camera came over to him. He's staring the cameraman dead in the eyes. He's feeling himself. He's enjoying his play on this stage. And the Yone ban, really interesting. So that's generally the protection ban for the Azir. Now, will the Azir ban come out in response? If it does not, I expect Palafox just to go for it.
Exactly. NRG are saying we are picking Azir on 4 if you do not ban that Azir away. The Sylas was also banned out by C9 because they drafted Alistar early, and Sylas loves stealing Alistar's ult. It's his favorite ulti in the game to steal away, and the Maokai ulti, incredibly powerful too.
Both of them.
It does mean, though, if they go Azir here, I think it has to be AD Kaisa. So I do think that is something that you would be giving up. They don't obviously have to lock it in. They can go for a support pick here. I think Nautilus would be a really good option. I feel like it's almost guaranteed to be Nautilus because it is Zeri on the other side. It's such a good answer to that pick, and it also pairs really well with what they've drafted thus far.
Core JJ shout out there with the Terra cover. Rell, of course, just being such a popular champion throughout the entire split. One of the best engages, if not the best engage in the game right now, so they'll lock that one in. They will leave the final pick of the draft for Palafox.
I mean, there's just so many good engage supports. You're like, Rell, Alistar, Rakan, Nautilus, the list just goes on with the options here. But always going to have another one. And the Renekton side again here. Being considered.
I will say I'm a little bit surprised though. While Rell is a really strong engage, if you don't have flash, I think it's actually really hard to get to Zeri. Whereas Nautilus, you're almost always going to be able to get that ulti down, and it's going to be Aatrox here from Fudge.
I kind of like this. Fudge is finally out of Renekton jail. So many fans at least don't want to see them keep on picking it. Cloud9 have had so many Renekton games. At least change something up here. Get him on this Aatrox. See if he can have one of these big Duskblade, AD heavy Aatrox carry games. Let Fudge live a little. see if he can spread his wings and fly.
So it is the Ahri that got banned out last game against EMENES, so he's going to have his opportunity to go towards it. There's a lot of CC again over on the C9 team. It is going to be a big physical damage source from that top lane, so they're not overloading on magic damage by any means. And now we're just kind of waiting to see if it is going to be Palafox. And of course, the Azir was banned in round 1. I completely spaced out on that when we were talking about the Yone as the protection ban for it.
Oh,
so.
yeah. I mean, hey, I did the same thing. We're spaced out together, buddy.
Happens.
No worries. But we'll play the Taliyah instead.
Taliyah did get some buffs and has been highly rising in priority across the world. Definitely super popular in Korea. Also, pretty good against a lot of these champions with dashes, and I see a lot of dashes here.
Absolutely.
Those people will get stunned over the rock field.
All of them are going to be able to actually trigger that rock field going through. So it does feel like it turns into a bit more of a kite back comp. I think that's one of the complications with Taliyah is that you have to be kind of moving back, and there's so much engage, so much ability to jump forward on the NRG side that I think it makes things a little bit difficult. I don't think Taliyah is really that good on following up on dive, though you do obviously have the seismic shove if you have that point and click CC.
One of the things this brings my mind back to is the CLG days where Palafox and Contractz would run the Taliyah with the Vi, and they would use that kill combo where it's guaranteed hold someone in place for those seismic shoves for Palafox, and Palafox was following up on other people's plays from a
Tied 1-1. Let's see who moves on to match point in this one. C9 back on the blue side, NRG back on the red. We're gonna get any level 1 action this time around? Well, we've got that cool rock.
Well,
that's some action.
I also see a sweeper, but that rock is looking pretty cool.
That's a pretty cool rock, man.
They do have one sweeper on the field here for Blaber. So we'll see if there's any antics with this Maokai.
Yeah, I mean, they're just full line of scrimmage. No one's going anywhere, I don't think. You can see Ignar went back to base. You know, he grabbed the sweeper for himself, so dropped the ward in that bot lane brush, grabbed the sweeper, going to be moving back out on the map. And it's looking like Contractz is going to be starting bot side, and we'll see if that's going to be the case for Blaber on this Maokai as well. We touched on it earlier, 14-0. He's undefeated on the Maokai. Has been really, really good at it, just kind of setting up and playing around his team.
I want to see if he's got any tricks up his sleeve. Usually, Blaber is full clear, first clear every time. But you do have some options here with Maokai on level 3 flash W ganks as well. So Cloud9 could cook up something spicy here coming off of that NRG win in game number 2, wanting to change the pace.
Exactly. Berserker on the Zeri, I just feel like is one of the biggest X factors on any team in the LCS. This is something that NRG is going to have to be so aware of at every stage of the game.
It's also really interesting to know Palafox is actually playing phase rush on the Taliyah. So that does allow you not only to kite back, but also can proc that and have a little bit more ability to follow up on these plays, to chase down. There are a lot of melee champs over on the other team, so we'll see how effective it's going to be. Because phase rush, while it is really strong, also doesn't do anything if you're locked down when you proc it, and there is a lot of CC, so I'm going to be interested to see how he actually pilots that and if he can really make good use of the phase rush in this game.
Yeah, that could be so nice when you are when you have a Q going to follow up and hit all of the rocks, be able to chase them down, even sometimes repositioning for the seismic shove to be able to get that off of somebody else's CC. And again, looks like we're just going to have normal full clears for both tank junglers here, so nobody going for anything crazy. That ward, though, I do always appreciate that when a pushing solo laner can go push this ward. Thank you, observers. Pushing solo laners actually using their time to go track enemy jungle. Now, Palafox and the rest of NRG have exact timing on Blaber's arrival.
And Dhokla actually spots Blaber there. He's going to move into the enemy jungle and try to push him out because Aatrox can't move. There's a stacked wave at his turret. If he leaves there now, it's going to be so annoying. So he won't get too much, but he will at the very least delay Blaber a bit here.
And that's not just a somewhat stacked wave. It was Dhokla hitting level 3 before Fudge hit level 2. So level 3 versus level 1 at one point. That is a massive amount of minions crashing in there. Absolutely not worth to rotate over.
He's back
but that
again.
means Dhokla will continue
back.
terrorizing the tree. He doesn't want to let Blaber get the Gromp low enough to smite it, but now he is finally going to have to walk away here. Contractz coming up top just to make sure they don't bring the Aatrox down to try to collapse on him. Blaber will finally secure the Gromp, but it's NRG moving up into the top side first here. Contractz and Dhokla working together. They should at least be able to get the flash out of Fudge. There it is, the escape coming out from the Aatrox. Infernal Chains locked down. Yes, they can get the stun, but they don't want to chase it any closer to the turret.
As soon as that play started, I was just thinking, don't int under tower again. Don't int under tower again. You can tell they back right off. They're not over chasing anymore. Plus, you had a mid lane roam, so communication there from mid lane. The Ahri was heading up. EMENES has been very good for Cloud9 in roaming to side lane plays. It's one of his biggest strengths, and Cloud9 were ready to draw that trap shut, but they will just lose the flash off of Fudge.
And I think it's actually a really important roam from EMENES, even though it didn't result in anything, because if it's just Blaber there behind him, NRG will contest the wave and not allow him to actually crash it, so they'll just fight you 2v2. As soon as EMENES goes missing, NRG know they can't actually fight there, and Zven maybe gonna have to flash now.
Yeah, Zven in some trouble. He saves the flash, but he drops the ignite just as a, hey, leave me alone.
We have seen an alarming amount of those ignites from supports this year, where they're just igniting to try and scare people off.
And also proc Nimbus cloak. He wanted the move speed there, so he wanted to proc his Nimbus. He uses that for the move speed, is able to get out, so will take a big chunk of health. And reduces, obviously, their all-in potential here now that he's missing the Ignite. But, you know, well handled there by Zven to spend the Ignite instead of using Flash.
Contractz wanted to steal away some of the jungle from Blaber. He has Ignar right behind him. Blaber ready to contest this one, but Contractz does get away with a vast majority of that camp. Meanwhile, back in top lane, it's a flash coming out from Dhokla, taking advantage of the fact that Fudge already had to flash earlier. A couple more auto attacks. Big Dokes with a big solo kill.
Big Dokes is in the house. He's feeling himself. The last game gave him the confidence, and this game starts off exceptionally for him. First blood, the delayed capitalization off that previous gank. It's definitely says something as well. The NRG keep returning to those top lane plays early in these games, even after having so many devastating failures in top lane plays from the early jungle pressure. But this one, nice flash from Dhokla to get past that chain. And after that, you know the chase down is coming.
Yeah, and for Aatrox, you just can't win all ends unless you hit Q3 in this kind of a situation. So he flashes beyond the Q3, gets out of the chain, you know, really well played there. Flashing beyond the Aatrox, has lethal tempo stack over, back to live, and maybe a fight.
C9 might get caught here. Nice, using the Weaver's wall. Zven is trapped on the wrong side, finally flashing away, but FBI's got the kill. Seismic shove ain't gonna find him as Blaber tries to re-engage. Berserker with a zap over the wall. It's not gonna do enough. Nice charm there on the Palafox, but EMENES has not done enough to secure a kill. Palafox eats the apples. Dhokla going in. Counter-strike on 2. He drops the ulti, and Blaber is down. C9 have lost this fight. It's a 3-0 game for NRG, and they're going after the Ocean Drake at 6.5 minutes.
Biggest difference, of course, is the top laners. You see on the mini-map, Aatrox is up there at the tower, but Dhokla came down to support NRG in their winning dragon fight. So moving that top lane presence around does cost them in some CS, but definitely still worth it here for NRG. Big gold lead for the team now, as well as the objective.
Absolutely, and I think Cloud9 just had no idea that he was there because they looked for that step forward on the re-engage. You know, I think thinking it was an even numbers fight potentially, you know, the Dhokla wasn't going to be around, but instead he is there and does punish them. They get the TP out of him though, at the very least, and Fudge is able to farm and plate, plus deny a couple of minions top. So the gold trade, not that bad, and you have to keep Fudge relevant, especially with this new era of Aatrox where you're going lethality. If you fall behind, you are so worthless. This is not the old, more tanky bruiser style.
I'm a very big fan of positive reinforcement, so every time I see a top laner go make a play like that, where on their recall timing,
Gold star.
Instead of using their teleport back to their lane, they come make a play with the team and then use the teleport to get back to their lane to pick up the extra minions and make the cost not that much bigger. You always definitely need to give them a good pat on the back in addition to the gold star. Keep it up.
Oh, double.
No, man, you give him the 6 pings. You tag him as a live 6 times. You're like, man, I got this guy on my team. Let's go.
Smurf.
That's the kind of encouragement you
That's the
need.
dopamine hit, really. When you make a good play and your team starts pinging you.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's how you let them know. Keep doing more of that.
Yeah.
Well, Dhokla's going to move into the enemy jungle, clear out the vision that Blaber's got placed down there in the control ward, as Contractz is immediately ready to seize the second neutral objective of the game for the side of NRG. As soon as that Rift Herald spawns, Ignar has already rotated up here. You can see they're leaving FBI in the bottom half of the map. He's just farming. But it's going to be Berserker rotating up for the fight. They immediately throw out the Sejuani ulti. Now NRG's just deciding they want to disengage it. Ignar could be the sacrificial lamb, and I don't see any way out for him here. So it'll be 1 kill, traded away for the Rift Herald.
It looked like Ignar wanted to Hex Flash over the wall and get behind Blaber, but I think he failed his Hex Flash and then ended up just getting collapsed on. So it looked like a little bit of a miscue. I'm not certain. It's possible that he decided he just wanted to bail out on it and wasn't intending to go over. But because he flashed against the wall, it looked like that really was what he was trying to get done.
I think either way, they're sacrificing him there. Now Dhokla might be the sacrifice.
Dhokla getting dove on, trying to pop the counter-strike to stay alive, jumping back out towards the enemy team. Contractz arrived, but it was a little bit too slow, and C9 get their second kill of the game.
Taliyah is coming, though. Palafox has his ulti. Here he comes.
The Weaver's Wall has arrived, but Blaber ends up on the other side of it. He tries to chase them through the unraveled earth, but Blaber's now stuck in the middle. He flashes over the wall, but Contractz is ready to follow, and Palafox throws another rock. It's a return kill for NRG.
Palafox able to make good on this one. I wonder if Blaber could have squeaked through and just ran away there because he did not get hit by the seismic shove. It felt like he thought he was pinned with the seismic shove and with the wall there, but regardless, one extra kill back for NRG. They're happy to see that because they also get to push the lane out in the aftermath and get a turret play back.
Yeah, maybe he was worried about a potential chase down from Palafox, proccing phase rush and chasing down and getting multiple kills, because at the very least, he could have just flashed and gotten out 100%. Instead he re-engaged, then used the flash. Obviously, did force a flash out of Contractz to follow for that kill. But I think it was a situation they could have escaped from. Maybe he thought he had to give up the life to kind of defend the rest of his team.
Still only the difference in the gold value of 2 kills for NRG, an advantage over C9. Fudge has been able to stay even with Dhokla despite the solo death earlier, thanks to the fact that Dhokla roamed down to help the team instead of continuing to just play for lane.
Yeah, he's actually more than even. He's up to almost 600 gold now, right? Because he got plates. It's now 2 plates that have gone his way, plus the dive was pretty punching from Dhokla, because Dhokla died on that dive with a wave at his turret with no TP. And those ones are always going to hurt so much more than those early deaths where you just TP straight back to lane and catch the wave.
Big critical issue, though, is that those 2 extra kills for NRG are both onto this Kaisa. So FBI got funneled the money to finish his Static Shiv, whereas Berserker is still on the components of Static Shiv, and it allows FBI to quickly push this lane on bottom side. Dragon coming up in 50 seconds here. NRG already laying the groundwork with a lot of extra wards.
How do we feel about Eclipse on Aatrox versus the Duskblade? Because that was just completed as soon as Fudge made his most recent recall.
Does give you the extra sustain angle, and when you're facing with a Sejuani and the Rell, there's 3 melees here with the bruisers, so he's looking for, well,
Dhokla flashing forward very aggressively against Fudge. Now leap striking back. Glacier risen. Contractz tried to read him there. I think that was a Mad Life attempt. Fudge goes in for the flash Q3, but it ain't gonna work just yet. There it is. Dhokla secures the kill.
Yeah, the third man gets it done. EMENES on the move up here, but Ignar is around as well. They could actually look for a redive. I think he's been spotted, and Palafox is gonna wrap around behind him. They're gonna try to redive this.
EMENES stepping forward very aggressively. Spirit Orb thrown out to try to just chip Contractz a little bit.
He doesn't know.
Ignar and Palafox are ready to come around. The minions are already underneath the turret. EMENES, chain CC, bursted down. NRG get another one.
NRG back-to-back dives on the top side, punishing both the Cloud9 soul laners, farming the plates. Palafox has again been so active this game. Multiple trips up to that top side, working well with Ignar and Contractz.
And I want to point out that as they rotate multiple people up to the top side, they also rotate the Kaisa into mid lane, and that allows FBI to push up to the tower, get those turret plates as well, and they don't lose out on an extra section of the map. Huge stuff here for NRG. Whoever said you can't play through top lane? They are smashing
Everyone
it.
except top laners.
They are smashing it through top lane right now. Oh, massive stuff.
Yeah, they're looking really, really good. And I think, honestly, Fudge played that about as well as he could have. I think Contractz was kind of predicting, as you said, Flowers, a little bit of a Mad Life maybe coming through. Because Aatrox still had flash at that point, so I think he was expecting him to retreat back towards the turret. Didn't end up doing it, but dodged about as many skill shots as you can. But honestly, there's just no way out when there's that many members and the rock field gets dropped under you. You can't use your dashes. You just can't really outplay it. So now with these soul laners from Cloud9, getting kind of attacked, getting punished a little bit, has bought some time for Berserker. So we'll see what he can kind of make happen with this. It is the 2 kills over for FBI, but Berserker has been able to farm some plates down on bot side, so he's not really that far behind.
On the Zeri too, as long as he doesn't immediately do his jump slide over the unraveled earth, Zeri just gets fast enough, she just runs past them later on. So that's one of the things I feel like they have to continue to be aware of this Zeri, of what he can do in these team fights if given the opportunity, since he has not individually been set behind. The deaths are on Fudge, on Blaber, on EMENES.
It's absolutely true. I will say, though, kind of with so much CC in the game, when they're forced to play Cleanse, it's so much easier to kite out the Zeri ult than when they're playing Ghost. So that is one of those big difference makers. NRG have tools to disengage, and we'll see. Cloud9 looking for a play.
Yeah, Zven goes over the wall, but Contractz catches him at the Glacial Prison, denies that one, and Dhokla just once again taunting him.
Dhokla emotes have become my favorite thing.
I love it.
All right, let's see if he gets to keep on spamming them or if Cloud9 can shut him up, though. 3 members up here on the top side of the map, and they're just waiting around.
Ignar's flanking.
And NRG have a full 4 members coming for a pincer.
Blaber's the target here at the start. FBI flies in with a killer instinct. Blaber down to half HP as Ignar goes for the crash down, forces out the flash. Now Zven has to try to escape from Palafox. Another one of those ignites just to proc the Nimbus cloak, get himself the extra move speed, flashes the Pepega frog, but continues walking away. It's NRG having control over the topside river, having control over the Rift Herald, and having control over the objective game still.
At the very least, Cloud9 will be able to get bottom side turret for sure. EMENES should be able to push that one over. It's already extremely low. They've got the Ahri on the bottom side with the teleport, so they're going to try and make a cross-map play during this.
Yeah, we'll see if NRG want to try to drop Herald here. They can't get this first Herald for free. You know, it's going to be interesting to see if they would actually push to try to take 2 up in that top lane. And they do end up getting first turret. It's all almost local gold there for Dhokla. So Dhokla getting a huge injection, already has 3 kills, and is now out to 6,000 gold here this early on, looking strong.
Fudge going in, trying to find Dhokla there, as then Fudge trying to dash through that unraveled earth, but it's EMENES coming in with a TP from behind. Palafox and Dhokla both going to be in a lot of trouble. Fudge hits Q1, Q2 ain't going to find him, but EMENES will. Palafox cannot escape. Dhokla tries to get one back, but he won't get it just yet. And there's your shutdown. Sword in the air, the man don't care. Fudge makes it a second.
He turns around and he gets revenge. Cutting that gold lead back down, but now we got supportal combat.
Man, it's a Rell and a Sejuani. I don't know how much damage they can do. Okay, FBI coming in. Once the Void Seeker connects, now you've got enough damage to maybe finish him off, but not quite yet. Zven's still low. Contractz needs a little more, but he can't find it. There's no damage. The Maokai ulti to lock down the enemy jungler, and Berserker gets paid. NRG have lost their lead.
Greed is a deadly sin, and Contractz will pay the price. They're flashing forward to try to get a support kill, only to give a freebie over to Berserker, the person you least want to have that gold.
NRG look like they're losing focus. They just lost both of their solo laners and then tried to make a play with some 0 damage champions versus an Alistar here. This is how it all started, and their solo laners do get chased down. But this is what we're talking about when you're looking for angles for Cloud9 to fight back. Teleport up top from EMENES as NRG try and make the 2-person play. EMENES comes in, he misses everything, honestly. Misses the charm, misses the Q, but it doesn't matter because they still can chase down Palafox. And then Fudge just pays enough respect to Dhokla to kite back out, turns around once Zven has him under control with the knock up there to get the kill back.
Yep, you can see a little bit of frustration there on Dhokla, just in his body language. As FBI, you know, we're watching the later part of this replay, he had no killer instinct, so Berserker's pushing him out. Contractz flashes forward, but it's so much damage reduction with the ulti that this charm from EMENES saves the day. The Everfrost root is there. Berserker gets to get the kill, and you spent your flash, so insult to injury there. Cloud9 know exactly where they want that gold to go, and they're able to deliver it to him. Berserker going to be accelerated towards that second item, but it's FBI who already has his done and is sitting as really the strongest person in the game right now, out significantly ahead of pretty much everyone except Berserker.
Well, the third Drake of the game is alive, and with that last sequence of plays, it's pretty much anyone's game here. Cloud9 have a very, very slight gold lead, but it really can't translate into a whole lot of anything meaningful. They're the ones with control over the bot side river as NRG try to approach.
All right, a lot of summoner spells up. EMENES goes in.
He tries to find the charm, but instead, he just delivers himself to death. Almost straight back for Ignar, but he escapes back underneath the tier 1 turret. NRG are able to fire back as Dhokla occupies Blaber and Fudge. Zven needs to kill with the Ignite. It's a 1-for-1 overall, but FBI jumps in. The killer instinct. Berserker is down. The Zeri is gone. And now Palafox is still on the hunt. He'll continue chasing after him. The saplings trying to slow down the pursuing NRG players as they will force the remainder of C9 back.
That should be enough to get that dragon for sure for NRG. They pop the Rift Herald to go mid as well. They can get 2 at once.
NRG getting a big play there again, able to punish EMENES, who went in. It's another swing and a miss there on the Ahri, goes over the wall. And it kind of baited Cloud9 into this losing fight because EMENES wasn't able to hit anything. They go forward, and Dhokla maybe in some trouble now.
Has to flash.
Yep.
Fudge at least grabbing something on the back end of that play.
Yeah, it is going to be able to actually force that flash out. They get this charge on 2 towers, though. And it is the second dragon here. Chemtech rears its ugly head for the first time this weekend, and not the one that you're going to be wanting. But we can watch this one more time. EMENES feels that he has an opportunity here to go for it, but he's going in blind except for just that sapling vision. The zap comes through, and that gives him the eyes. He wants to go for the big target in Palafox, but he's just out of range, and Ignar and FBI are stacked in on top of him. Gets burst out already.
Yeah, and then Blaber kind of has him with the Maokai ultimate, and they try and go through. Berserker wanted to get those chains procs to get Alistar even lower, so he dies.
That is a stressed man.
Whew. Those are not.
Two sides of the same coin. That is competition.
And that is how close this series is. This finals, where everyone is talking about the previous 3-0 Cloud9 delivered to NRG. But that 3-0 was closer than the score line would indicate.
Yep.
And NRG are again pushing Cloud9 to the brink.
Both game 1 and 3 could have been NRG wins. And we've seen, the core of this roster, Contractz, Dhokla, and Palafox push Cloud9 in series before. Back when it was CLG, they were able to go the distance in some series. They were kind of known as one of those teams that could really step up and brawl with Cloud9, because they're one of the few teams in the league that doesn't seem to just kind of concede territory. They're willing to fight, they're willing to scrap, they're willing to be aggressive, and I think that does suit them well against a team like Cloud9.
I mean, even back at the very beginning of playoffs, the whole rumor, the whole storyline was, oh, Cloud9's ducking the NRG and Team Liquid side of the bracket. Cloud9 players have since denied these allegations, but it's something that the community constantly keeps discussing, is, hey, man, these are kind of the guys that seem to have figured it out.
I mean, they made the right choice at the end of the day. Those were our other top 3 teams, right?
Yeah.
It was the other side of the bracket that got knocked out, so it is TL and NRG that made it the furthest, that got to play here on the championship weekend. So Cloud9 definitely made the right choice for what side of the bracket they should start in.
Well, we've got 1,500 gold lead now for NRG. They're +1 Drake, but it is just that Chemtech Dragons, so not the highest value. Fudge and Blaber just trying to secure the camps in their own jungle. They know NRG's trying to step forward, establish some vision here. Voidseeker over the wall. They don't want to full engage on Zven. They learned that lesson once. Voidseeker again, finding the Alistar.
It's also pretty interesting, I said it was going to be an AP or AD Kaisa, excuse me, almost for sure with how much AP that they have, but he's actually going for kind of a hybrid build. Looks like he's going to be going potentially towards Rageblade third, so he's splitting the difference a little bit, but I definitely thought it was going to be Quick Blades and full AD.
Yeah, I mean, they do have the Jax as well as the Sejuani, some physical damage there too. I mean,
The Jax is physical damage, and plus when you look at the enemy team, Ahri, Zeri, and Aatrox aren't going to be stacking a lot of MR. Yes, EMENES was able to go for a Banshee's Veil second, but Ionian Boots, Banshee's Veil, Everfrost, Vegan Ahri is also not going to be nearly as much of a threat onto your carries as an Ahri that focused on the damage instead. So, hey, I know Maokai and Alistar can itemize pretty effectively against you, but just ignore them and kill the guys that matter. I feel like that's probably the strategy here, and AP Kaisa is just so oppressive right now.
It does mean that Merc Treads are at a premium for Cloud9. Very, very effective here, and you can see that. A bunch of them purchased up here for all but the heavy carries there.
And Jax, does do more physical damage, but honestly not that much more. It's actually pretty comparable. It's like a 60-40 split or thereabouts, maybe even like 55-45. So Jax definitely has a lot of magic damage in there too. And yeah, you're not going to be stacking armor. You're not going to be, or rather stacking a massive amount of MR, but there definitely is the opportunity to get some. You can see that there is going to be some MR already purchased up with the Abyssal Mask. There's going to be Merc Treads. You could see something like a Hex Drinker or a Maw later on for Berserker as well.
So difference in this game compared to the previous two with the Kaisa build, not only is it not the mythic item second, going for that Nashor second as per usual, but you can see the Rage Knife in the inventory for FBI, completely moving away from the Ludens, going more for just that auto attack heavy build.
And we'll see if it does end up punishing them, like how much magic damage they do have, because there's already a Null Magic Mantle now grabbed by Berserker. You already have MR items purchased up by Blaber and EMENES, and I think that Hex Drinker is great for Aatrox as well, so I do think we could be seeing it across the board.
All right, looking towards this next Dragon fight, though. These fights for Cloud9 could look so different if EMENES was able to hit his first charms. Multiple times in a row here, we have plays starting out where he's not able to hit the charm or the Q. And Cloud9, they've got the mid lane push, so that gives them priority into the Dragon Pit first. They have fully established vision control already. They're kind of staking their claim here.
NRG say you can have it. We'll take Baron instead. We'll handshake you. Just trade it. No problem. Cloud9 are now going to be challenged to make sure that NRG are not sneaking that away while they try to secure the Baron. EMENES has moved up into the top lane to answer the wave that was shoved up by NRG, shoved up by Palafox. He has a teleport to join the fight if needed, but still total Baron control for the side of NRG. They're starting up the Baron.
Yeah, you got to follow through on your threats. If you're threatening Baron, then you better be able to do it when Cloud9 go get that dragon.
It's not exceptionally fast, but they are taking it down. About half HP now.
It's gone.
Cloud9's nowhere close. It was a disrespect from C9 that ends up trading a Chemtech Drake for a Baron 23 minutes into the game.
Yeah, that is really punishing, and now NRG posturing like they want to potentially engage here. I mean, it was going down slow because FBI wasn't there, but as soon as he arrives, that thing is going to die in a hurry. He has the Rage Blade completed. They get an absolute freebie from Cloud9, who kind of got called on the bluff. You know, they didn't think that they were going to commit to it. They thought they were just going to be posturing for a pick, so they say, you're going to be wasting your time up there. We're going to get a free dragon. Instead, NRG commit to it, and now are in a really strong spot.
Yeah, unless Cloud9 really thought, all right, there's no way we're winning a team fight right now, and they actually opted into that.
I doubt it. I mean, I feel like if you think you can catch them on the Baron this early on, the Baron is kind of that sixth man that can really swing things in your favor.
I don't know, man. It's a head scratcher for me. You got to have more respect for NRG than that. But hey, Cloud9 caught in the bluff. NRG now with Baron for the next 2 minutes, plus 2,000 gold already. The Drakes are even between them. We'll see what they're able to pick up. They only have 2 turrets so far. There's lots of standing gold for NRG to grab.
Yeah, it's dream for playing the entire map here with this Jack split push. Dhokla right up to the tower. He'll take care of that one, no problem. Who wants to share in the money?
FBI does.
FBI definitely does. Contractz, get out of here.
Go away, Sejuani.
Everybody wants to. It's just a matter of who's allowed to.
Ooh, Contractz jumping into the brush there, finds Fudge. Infernal Chains. Contractz gonna get bursted down. NRG's trying to be careful here, but their jungler is about to drop. Contractz kills Blaber. He gets away. Fudge tries the Acathian raid. NRG don't lose a man. C9 still trying to get something. EMENES dashes away from the seismic shove. It's a 3v5. C9 thought they caught something, but Contractz at the edge of death stays alive. Zven is gonna die to the seismic shove now, as NRG will not stop.
Palafox just goes in and makes his own play there. I have to say, the award for the 5-head, use my own body as bait for Contractz, though, I guess goes to him. Giga Brain there, and they're able to pick up 3.
I mean, he's just way too tanky. They can't actually burst him down. You know, they did have a pretty good catch on him, but he has the aftershock. He's leveled pretty high. You know, he has a lot of healing as well.
Yeah.
So he's going to be able to just kind of take it up. If you
Look
throw
at,
out that
look
ulti,
at the
proc
calculations. Look at the calculations going down in his head right now. Ah, yes, I've got my Radiant Virtue ticking. The heal comes through. Let me get Observer click on that Sejuani.
Oh my God. That I mean, it was below 1 tick health, so he was at maybe 40 health or something like that. Each tick on the health bar is obviously 100, so it was below 1. He was incredibly low.
If he has the green stat shard from his rune page, that's the difference between living and dying.
A true mathematician there. Contractz. Change his name to Calculator. All right, let's see how the rest of this siege goes.
And this is, now you're starting to get a little bit nervous here, I think, if you're Cloud9. Game 2 looking, you know, another game rather going the way of NRG. This would be their second win in the series, and this could potentially put them at match point. And Cloud9, I think, are really starting to struggle in this one. EMENES has not really been able to have a great effect. Yes, you can still hope that the Zeri can make something happen. They're trying to take advantage of the fact that there's a ton of MR. We see a Maw third completed, but we'll see if they have the damage.
Contractz gonna be the target here in the front line again, but he ain't gonna drop just yet. This time they get the burst. Berserker grabbing the kill, and Ignar dies next. C9, a double kill on the Zeri. What did I say earlier? This is the X factor. Berserker gonna keep up the chase here as Dhokla runs towards the wrong base. Palafox throws out the Weaver's wall to try to buy his top laner a little bit more time. He'll pick up the Chemtech plant blooming in the enemy base. Wants to jump back over the wall. Leap strike will get him there. Dhokla's still on the run. Tries to use the teleport to get away. EMENES flash charm to secure it. Berserker, kill number 4.
And Berserker got all 3 of those kills, the 2 on the top side and the 1 down on the Jax. That is really big, a massive injection of gold. And we'll see if Fudge is going to be going towards that Maw as well. I think they're going to be starting to get really, really tanky over on this Cloud9 side.
Everybody who has ever watched a Cloud9 game knows if Berserker is still breathing, it ain't over. He can definitely be that carry that they need. NRG have to be so much more careful with this. Their gold lead gets chopped down. They got a little bit too lazy there off their push with the Baron.
Absolutely. I mean, Contractz, I think, you know, feeling a little bit confident after he was able to survive that bot side play, you know, moving up on the top side again, you know, looking for that invade. The whole team was not there with him, so they're able to jump on him and got so much damage down. They get that play, they pile through for more. And yeah, the MR really starting to get stacked up. You can see Blaber, you know, buying up even more MR now. Already has the Spectre's Cowl in as well, so Cloud9 going to be stacking it up.
20 seconds or less till the Drake looks more like 10 now as C9 ready to step up and try to contest here. Nice stun coming out from Palafox. Blaber forced to use the twisted advance. Going forward, he's going to lead the charge. Ignar with a magnet storm ain't going to get a whole lot as Berserker rides over the wall, ready to ride the lightning. EMENES jumps in. Nice trauma to FBI, but he pops the cleanse, getting himself back away. Blaber going to be focused down again here. FBI is unstoppable, and Fudge is stuck as a golden trophy. Zven trying to escape, and Fudge will not. Ignar still keeping EMENES and Berserker kiting backwards towards the enemy jungle. Berserker goes over the wall with a Mega Blast Cone. NRG take out 2 and lose no one. Palafox chasing towards the brush. Seismic shove to interrupt the enemy mid laner. He has the shield. He will not be trading. It's a 3-for-0 for NRG. They're going to get the Drake on top. 25 seconds till Baron to go with it.
This series keeps on delivering right after Cloud9 get a bunch of kills onto Berserker. NRG strike right back. They get the objective. They get the kills. Now they've got the run of the map, and Baron's coming up as well. 12 seconds on that one. There's no teleports on either Fudge or EMENES. So NRG, they might be able to pick up another Baron.
And it starts off this flick here from Palafox, the lockdown onto Blaber. He's forced to go forward to actually try to find an angle. But look at Dhokla. Dhokla's kind of making it very difficult for them to commit to this fight. Berserker is trying to move up, but Dokla's always this threat. If he overcommits, you're going to get jumped on by that Jax, and Fudge is getting focused down as Palafox is kiting back. If you're over-forcing into a Taliyah like that and he's able to play in that corridor, it's almost impossible to pin him down.
Super well played by him. Palafox starting out so many plays, also ending so many plays. Goes in, gets the seismic shove into the brush with the teleport. They pick it up.
Don't read lips.
We have all been there in our own
He said,
solo queue
darn
games
it, this game
before.
isn't going as I hoped.
Shoot, shucks.
It is some tragedy behind the scenes for C9 after that one. NRG with control over the map. They've got the Baron. They've got the 5,000 gold lead. They're on Soul Point. We always talk about Chemtech's Soul not being as strong as the others, but it is still a Soul. It's still a massive advantage.
$5 is $5.
Exactly. Whether you find it on the sidewalk or it's a freshly printed from the press. Either way.
They'll take it.
NRG. Sure. They got 4 turrets down. They're looking to keep this going. Ignar nearly getting caught, flashing over the wall to make sure he stays alive.
Yeah, nice little catch. They're going to force out that flash there, but we'll see if they can get anything more because it is still the Baron push here for NRG.
And with that Baron, I was thinking they're going to be able to use these teleports here. Palafox pushing in topside. You want to play 4-1 split push. Don't spread yourself too thin, or else you can give another comeback angle to Cloud9, and EMENES is lying in wait here.
All he's going to get is a charm on the piggy. It doesn't go too far in this game state, as NRG still just keeping the pressure on here, buying a little bit more time for Dhokla to get things pushed up in mid.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be interesting to see how they actually play out these next fights, because Dhokla, now that he has his Zonias, can be really aggressive. You can just go backline and basically just zone out Berserker. Jump on him with the Leap Strike, force him to kite you back. As soon as the Leap Strike, the Counter Strike expires, you just go into the Zonias, you have a second one when you're coming out, and you're forcing Berserker to basically not play in the fight, while hopefully for NRG, Palafox and FBI are just crushing people.
Right now, he's the only one from NRG applying pressure, though. He still is able to get away with destroying that tower. Okay, he doesn't get local gold. Yeah, that's a substantial amount, but even taking down the defenses of that tower while the rest of NRG were in base, recalling, not applying pressure, it just goes to show how little room Cloud9 have to work with here, and NRG keep on closing it in around them.
And it's also a Zonias for FBI. It's a stopwatch for Palafox. You have a Zonias on Dhokla. There's all of these tools to actually deny pick here from Cloud9, because NRG, I think, is basically saying the only way we could possibly lose is one of our carries gets 100-0, gets burst out, so they're itemizing to really prevent that from happening. So it's going to have to be kind of that long extended fight for Cloud9. And Berserker has not been able to keep the ulti stacks going in most of these fights. They're kiting him out, they're disengaging, they're making it really, really difficult without that ghost for him to just stay in range and keep attacking.
C9 are really going to have to find a beauty of a team fight to take these guys down. It's only 9 seconds left on the Baron. Dhokla gets hit by a single Q from Fudge, but with a minion wave right next to him, he can disengage that way. Contractz going in, Ignar right behind him. FBI flies in with a killer instinct, and the Weaver's wall follows it up, but they don't have the burst to immediately kill Blaber. He can get away, he'll stay alive.
Oh yeah, NRG really wanted to jump on that one, but they don't want to overchase at the tower here, so they call it off. FBI immediately ulting in to follow up. No extra burst comes through though. Cloud9 defend for now. The timer here is ticking down pretty quickly though. They need to, if they're going to reset, you need to do it pretty soon. Go get your control wards, try and retake your vision and your safe path up to the Dragon first, because Dragon Soul is about to arrive. As many jokes as people make about the Chemtech, it is still a soul that will give an extra advantage over to NRG, and it might be the breaking point.
Absolutely. I mean, Cloud9 is going to try to reclaim some of this positioning. They have 5 pink wards in the inventory. Now they drop down a couple. They're going to be looking to try to take over this space, but it's going to be difficult here for them to get in through Palafox.
Berserker and FBI squaring off over in mid, fighting for the minion wave. EMENES going to need to hit these charms. So many have not hit the mark in these fights, in this game. Contractz holding the pixel brush here, does not want to allow C9 to step up any further. FBI taking the blast cone to guarantee he has safe passage into this fight. Ready for the positioning here. Ignar with a hex flash over the wall, regrouping with FBI. The Drake has spawned. Nobody's starting it off just yet. Blaber and Zven leading the way for C9. Contractz still ready to contest them here in the river. The Drake has been aggroed. Nobody wants to mess with it. Palafox still waiting to fire off the Weaver's wall. Maybe cut these guys' lines in half. There it goes. Shoots it over the back line. Fudge has been separated. They can dash over. They fire it out. Seismic shot ain't gonna hit the mark, but they immediately find a huge amount of damage on EMENES, and FBI is godlike. C9 have to try to scramble. Blaber's already at half HP. His Zven tries to survive in the pit, but Dhokla with a beautiful re-engage. A double kill of an FBI. Berserker will kite. Berserker will fight, but it will not work. He tries to get another one. He flashes in, but he can't quite get it. Contractz ready to lock him down. Palafox right behind. Fudge trying to fight back, but a beautiful seismic shot back onto the Zeri now. Palafox with another perfect stasis. Fudge falls. Berserker runs. C9 are crushed in the team fight. Berserker cannot get away just yet. And Big Dose lands the chopper. It's an ace for nothing for NRG.
Clean ace for NRG, and Cloud9 will be seeing stopwatches in their nightmares tonight.
EMENES is up here in 5, Blaber's up in 7. Can they hold the line as Zven has already respawned? It's going to be 3 members from Cloud9, but Jax is TPing back. They want to end.
NRG still looking. EMENES fires up the charm, ain't gonna get it. NRG still trying to get this push. They know they have a 5v3, but they're out of gas. They can't get it done.
They can move potentially, over to the Baron. They might want to try to just rush this down because Berserker's not going to be up here for 20 seconds. Obviously has no TP as the ADC, so we'll see if they commit to it. I think they will.
Yeah, and they absolutely melt it. This is a full item Kaisa right now. FBI, Deathless, massive performance from him with the Rage Blade, fully completed. Cloud9, no, this is their only hope, and they're going to go for a steal.
C9 ready for the full send. It would be up to Blaber over the wall, but he can't even get there. He's going to be locked down instead. Ignar with a Magnet Storm ready to go. They've already killed Fudge with a very start. Blaber goes down with him. Zven tries to run away with the ulti. Can only save you from so much. A triple kill for FBI. EMENES and Berserker now stand alone as NRG stands shrouded in purple. And you'll see Berserker try to kite it out, but he can't get it done. FBI goes legendary, and NRG still hasn't lost a man.
NRG is just going to kite out the Zeri ult as soon as that expires. There's nothing going on here for Berserker. It's just 1 man up against 5 from NRG. They're marching forward. They do need a wave, though, so they're going to have to wait a while.
Cue the elevator music.
They realize it. They pop the Yumi emotes. I wonder if we're going to get a chance even to see that replay, because I want to point out something that is this coordination between FBI and Ignar. You'll see at the beginning of this dragon fight. Oh, perfect. Okay, Ignar, look at the bottom of your screen. He goes around here. He's looking for this angle over the back onto EMENES, and FBI immediately is looking right at him. Boom! Immediately goes in, FBI answers with the ultimate, and EMENES is destroyed, immediately dead. Then it's a 5v4 fight here for NRG.
And we've seen a lot of the fights go this way for Cloud9. EMENES is not the one who's actually starting off on the correct foot. He's getting burst down. Imagine if he doesn't instantly die. I mean, Berserker really made him work for it. Look for the flash in to try to finish Dhokla as soon as that Counter-Strike expired, but Dhokla had the perfectly timed Zhonya's. And then again, anytime Berserker pops the ulti and is close to that Zeri moment, NRG are respecting it. They're just kiting back. They're allowing the ulti to expire, because without those ulti stacks, you just can't make it happen.
And anytime Cloud9 thought they were going to kill, boom, stopwatch, boom, Zhonya's. Unable to get a single one.
But NRG are playing a hell of a series here in a commanding position here in game number 3. they are looking to march forward, looking to try to make history here, to prevent Cloud9 from making some history of their own.
Yeah, NRG are massive underdogs here. They have been working tirelessly for this moment here in the finals, and now they can almost touch it.
Those Void Seekers, man, you gotta look out for those.
I mean, he's on 6 items with no boots on the Kaisa. He's got a death cap, no boots. That is, really gonna hurt. But on the other side, Berserker is full build as well. So that is still what you are praying for if you are Cloud9. NRG just need to close this one out cleanly. They're still in an incredible spot, but you have to respect the power of that 6 item Zeri.
Fudge, half HP. NRG still looking to force this here onto the tier 3 turret in the top lane. Weaver's Wall makes sure C9 backs away. They throw out the ulti from Contractz. It ain't gonna find Berserker here just yet, but Blaber gets knocked back with a seismic shove. Twisted advance looking for Dhokla. He immediately re-engages and the tree is chopped. C9, 4v5, 39 minutes on the clock, 24 versus 9 on the kills. It's a 13,000 gold lead. 2 inhibitors are already down. They have to try to make a stand.
Cloud9 trying to defend here. No Blaber for a long time, and NRG are coming to finish.
The first minion wave is about to collide into the turrets, but without Baron, C9 have enough clear to hold them at bay. Dhokla not going to engage there with that counter-strike. NRG are having a tough time being able to get the waves close enough.
Yeah, they don't want to overcommit on a dive into the Zeri, because then if Berserker's able to kite back with the summoners, with his ulti, maybe can make something happen, but now they're looking for it. The first tower almost knocked down.
Blaber's up in 13 seconds.
Nexus turret barely staying alive. Charm misses again. EMENES tries to dive towards FBI, but again, he does not want to overextend. One more mistake from C9 and the game is done. Everfrost not going to lock anybody up either. NRG still staying together. Berserker jumping forward. Fudge finds a Q1. They immediately turn it back onto the Aatrox, but he ain't going to die. Ignar back over the wall. Disengaging. C9 will keep the game going.
And that's the Zeri ultimate used right there, so they may not even have that for this potential Elder fight. It's going to be up shortly after the Elder does spawn, but that is really problematic. Cloud9 push back into their base, don't have any vision out here on the river, and it's going to be NRG moving down towards that bot side. Blaber stopping that base is nice, but it is still a full build FBI.
Yeah.
What is Zeri now too? Berserker just bought the final item, LDR.
All right. How hard can Berserker carry? Can he pull Cloud9 back into this game? The 13,000 gold lead doesn't mean much if your items are full. If your inventory is full, that's all that matters. Here comes the fight on Elder. This could be the game changer or the game ender.
All right, NRG trying to approach into the river. C9 already going to start up the Drake. They want to try to burn it down. They're going to force the issue. They got to make it chaotic as EMENES is here on the front, dashing right back into the Drake pit now himself. Zven with a knock up onto 2. FBI with 14 kills, immediately forced into the stasis. Berserker's already used his cleanse. FBI with a flashback over the wall. Fudge going to be focused down, but he survives for now. Blaber is killed by FBI. Berserker going to be focused down next. FBI with the damage. It's one for one of the AD carries, but everybody else is dead. NRG wins the fight.
They're teleporting it to end right now. Big Dokes is going for the Nexus again.
Just stop him, boys. That's all you gotta do. Ignar with the shattering strike. EMENES is all that's left, but it will not matter. NRG are going to force this to match point. They will take the lead in the series, and they will take game 3 after 42 minutes battling against C9.
What a performance from NRG so far, surpassing, I think, almost everyone's expectations here. Really looking good in this series, able to have an incredible game from FBI. He died in the final fight, but 16, 1 and 5, 6 items on the Kaisa was such a difference maker for this team.
I saw on the player cams, Berserker going right